Welcome back to math. Today we're actually going to be talking about multiplying decimals. I realize there's no decimals up here, but we'll get to that soon enough. When we have a 3 times 4, what does the 3 mean? What does it mean? It means groups, right? So we could put groups up here. Wow, that's pretty... There we go. Wow. Okay, so the 3 means groups, right? So I could go ahead and make 3 groups. Just put the big circles because that will be our groups. Now what is the 4? What does the 4 mean? What does the 4 mean? Items, right. Okay, now that means I have 4 items in the 3 groups, right? So now I'm going to put 4 items in each of these groups. Do you see all 4 items in each group? Do you see those? I hope that they're easy to see. I have 4, 4, and 4. How many items and what's going to go in the box over here? Does anybody remember? 12. We call it the total, or it's called the product if we are talking about multiplying, right? Okay, so what is our total going to be? 12, because this 4 plus this 4 plus this 4 is 12, right? 4, 8, 12. Make sense? All right, now I'm going to do the same problem again, and I'm not going to draw these big circles, okay? I'm going to have, now what's the 3 stand for? It stands for groups. And the 4 stands for how many items I'm going to have in that group, right? Here's my 4 items. There's another 4 items. Now how many groups do I have? I have 3 groups. But I have them all nicely together, right?
Yes.
Do you see how the groups work?
Yes.
Do you see them?
Yes.
Should I circle one? See our group? That's one group, and we have how many groups there?
3.
We have 3. 1, 2, 3 groups of 4 items. And that's going to give us the product of 12. Good. Now you're going, okay, Mr. McGuire, that's great, but what about decimals? Okay, well now I'm just going to change my problem slightly. Okay, I'm going to change my problem slightly. What's the 3 stand for? Groups. And this number over here stands for items, right? So I'm going to put my, how many items? 4. But we did it like this before, right? Right? We had 3 groups of 4.
Yes.
Can I take that, and where should I put it on my place value chart? Where do you think I should put it on my place value chart? In the tenths. Okay. I wonder if I'm going to see if I can cut this and just move it. That'd be cool if I could. Let's see if it'll work.
Oh.
Boom. That's cool. Cool, huh? So I have what? I have 12 tenths, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody see something interesting here? What is it? Yeah?
Make a 1.
Right. So if I circled all 10 of these items, this makes 1 whole, right? Right? And how many do I have left?
2.
2. Wow. So it's kind of like I'm taking my decimal point and just putting it right in here, aren't I? Because, does that make sense? I'm going to move that slightly because I think it'll make more sense if I do it this way. I'm going to put my 1 here. Here's my decimal point right here, right? This is my decimal point. So it goes here. And how many items do I have right here?
2.
2. So my answer is 3 copies of 0.4, or 3 copies of 4/10, is actually 1.2, right? Does that make sense? It's pretty easy, isn't it? Now let's try a slightly different problem. I'm going to move this one up. I'm going to go right above. What's this again?
Groups.
3 groups of how many items? 2 tenths, right? So we're going to put our dots right here in the tenths. That's 2 groups, right? And there's 3 groups. So what's our answer on this problem? Well, where's our... Do we have any 1 holes? Do we have any 1 holes?
No.
Up here? No, we don't. So it's 0 in the 1s, right? Bring down our... Yeah, our decimal here. And then how many items do I have? 6. So my answer is 0.6, right? Does that make sense? So that is the way that you would draw out your multiplication of decimals problems. And it can work for any of the place values. Okay? So what you've done to the tenths, you could also do in the hundredths. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Well, I want you to practice this. And let's just make it simple on ourselves tonight. Let's do the tenths only for homework, okay? So we can practice that. Okay, so what do we have here? We have, what's our first number?
4.
Okay, so what does it mean?
Group.
4 groups. And what do we put where? What do we put where? Okay, we're going to have 4 groups of 5 in what? In the tenths, right? So, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And how many groups? 4, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how many more groups do I have to have? 1. Right? I have 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, right? Of 5. And how many do I put in the hundredths? 6 items. How many groups? 4, right? Okay. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? See that? Okay. Question. How many do I have in the tenths? How many do I have in the tenths? How many do I have in the hundredths? And we're going to put our 1s here, right? How many do I have in my tenths?
20.
I have 20. Ooh. What does that do? That makes 2. Remember, where would we put our decimal on this? Between the 2 and the 0, right. So, I'm just going to pull this off for a sec. I'm going to put the 2 here and the 0 here, right? That would be our first number. Because we have, if you notice, we have how many groups of 10?
2.
We have 2 groups of 10. And how many do we have in our hundredth area?
24.
Ooh. So, how many should we, let's circle tens, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we got 6.
2.
That would be it, right? Right. And then we've got 6. Is that all right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So where does that 2 go for this one? This would be in the hundredths, right?
Yeah.
So that means that we have 0 here, decimal point. We have 2 hundredths, right?
Yeah.
And how many more? 4, right? Ooh, do you see the way that works?
Yeah.
Look at that. So then we could just add them together, couldn't we? And so 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 0 is 2. What do we need to do here?
Bring down
Very
the
important.
decimal.
Yeah, bring down the decimal. And then our 2 here. So our answer to our problem is what? 2.24. Okay? Does that make sense? Now we could also write that out as a vertical. Ooh, a vertical what? A vertical math problem, like where we multiply, right? We call it an algorithm, right? So 6 times 4 is
24.
24. Carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 2.
22.
22. Carry the 2. 4 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2. And then how many places do we have behind the decimal?
2.
Yeah. 1, 2. So we can even show it like that as well, right? So if your teacher wants you to draw it out, you can draw it out like this, or and on a place value chart, right? Or we can even do it as a math problem or a vertical algorithm, right? Okay? I love math.